भीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सहस्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवते गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for this today's class. So just quick recap of yesterday's session. So yesterday our devotees can just quickly write in chat box or you can unmute and speak. Yesterday we discussed on the second section of our third chapter, that about rungs of yoga ladder. Yes, Prabhu.
Selfishness in real meaning is to go back to God.
Okay, so real selfishness is Nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Swartha gati, the real swartha gati is to go to Lord Vishnu. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Any other point?
Yes, Prabhu. So we also discussed like a sincere sweeper is better than a person who just meditate for the sake of living.
What does the word Prabhupada use? Charlatan meditator.
Charlatan meditator.
Charlatan meditator. He said
Yes.
that the sincere sweeper in the street is better than that. Yes, Prabhu. Sanket Prabhu is telling giving up prescribed duties immaturely without purification of heart is not recommended, as the propensities still remain. Thank you, Sanket Prabhu. Because so, what are the prescribed duties? Prescribed duties are two kinds of duties. That is nitya karma, namittika karma, nitya karma. Nitya karma, spiritual duties and the occupational duties. So unless the purification of heart is not done, giving up abruptly all these things will not be. So how many of you know the story of Raja Bhartuhari? Bhartuhari. Kaushik Prabhu. Raja Bhartuhari.
Prabhuji, I forgot. I heard this name, but I forgot the story.
So once upon a time, after hearing a class on Bhakti Shastri, one king was there. He got a desire to get renounced all this material world. And repeatedly he was hearing so many times Bhakti Shastri class. Suddenly got a desire that I want to renounce. So at a very young age only, he went to the kingdom. He went to the forest. And he started living in the jungle. And very simple life and everything. But then what happens is one day, uh, one day, one person asked him, by the way, who are you? So he asked him, who are you? I'm telling you the big story very cut short. So he said, actually, I'm the king Bhartuhari. So he said, who king? Which Bhartuhari? You don't know Bhartuhari? He said, I am the Bhartuhari. अरे बाबा पूरा जो राज्य चलाता है वो कौन है? कौन चलाता था? लेकिन मैंने संन्यास लिया, याद नहीं आपको? So then that sage told, you are not a sadhu. You have renounced everything, but you are not renounced the material propensities only. And तिलना वो भी तलवार निकाल के मार देगा. मतलब that means आपने अभी तक उससे attachment नहीं छोड़ा. So real renunciation is attachment. Real renunciation is working without attachment. So you have given up the post maybe externally, but internally that's why mithachar. Na? Internally you are. So yes, Prabhu. So when we engage in the karmas, then our propensities get purified. Yes, who? Any other points?
Guruji, we discussed that any work which is not offered to Lord as a sacrifice, then it creates material bondage.
Any work not done for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu is a cause of bondage, samsara bandhan. It will lead to bondage. By the way, I think today less devotees have joined. In case your friends are missing, just remind them, someone. So in case you feel that some of your friend is missing, just sometimes reminders are required. So yeah, yagna shishta shanto muchante sarvakilbishay. Then he said ki food offered to food offers as sacrifice to Lord Vishnu. Ahara shuddho, sattva shuddho, sattva shuddha, driya smriti. So it is said when ahar is shuddha, then everything becomes shuddha. So we have to focus on ahar. Thank you. Any other point, Prabhu?
We also discussed that we have to work like for the pleasure of Vishnu, but it should be in guidance of expert.
It should be under the expert guidance. It is generally painful thing to work under the Supreme Lord's direction. So it requires expert guidance. Okay. Any other?
One point we mentioned about how to remember Krishna all day. So you mentioned that first remember Krishna in our regular activities, then automatically it will bring remembrance of Krishna all day.
So remember Krishna at least while Bhakti Shastri class is going on. I remember Krishna at least when Japa is going on. Then we can think about our entire day. Yes, online, any other devotees?
Without doing yajna, we cannot happy.
Yagya. Anyone who does not do yagya cannot be happy, whether materialist, spiritualist, anyone. Yagya means sacrifice. And without yagya, no chance of happiness. Okay, online. Success is not in achieving in the results, but in the activity to please the Lord. Vivek Prabhu is saying, yeah, success is not. So in Krishna consciousness, we got opportunity to put some endeavor for the Lord. That itself is a success. So I told you the example of Raghunath Das Goswami and also Radhanath Maharaj, that they were carrying a small stick. They said, "Arey, इस stick से कुछ नहीं होने वाला." नहीं, that is actually just my endeavor. Ultimately, result to Lord only gives. So we got chance to please do some activity for the Lord. That itself is a great service. Okay. Any other devotees?
Prabhuji, we discussed art of doing work, that every work should be done as a sacrifice to Krishna. And then means sacrifice should be also done in that purport. Prabhupada wrote that congregational chanting is means the sacrifice that should.
Correct. So it is mentioned that sacrifice should be done. The best possible yagya in this age of Kali Yuga is Sankirtan yagya. So other yagyas are almost. So yesterday Vaibhav Prabhu was telling that Prabhu, I think Vaibhav Prabhu is there.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so Prabhuji was asking that Prabhu, we are in family now. What it means to do yagya for us and what it means to do this. So basically, getting time, sufficient amount of time to perform Sankirtan yagya. This is only, I think, no matter what all occupations we are doing, getting time to perform Sankirtan yagya, that is the biggest yagya. So I think the biggest sacrifice in this Kali Yuga is sacrificing our time for chanting. That's all. Otherwise, we are so busy nowadays that we don't have time for chanting only. So he said the biggest sacrifice is sacrifice some of your time for chanting. Okay. Any other points? Prabhu is telling action performed in Krishna consciousness is better than Jnana Yoga and even just Krishna consciousness activities are better than any other point of these things. Jnana, karma, sitting, speculating. Okay. Any other?
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
you mentioned that the goal of the all activities should be clear. That is all.
We give an example of businessman. Businessman may be going to fill the petrol. He may go to he may repair his vehicle, everything. But his goal is very clear. That is focused on the business. Similarly, sometimes we may have to do many other multiple activities. But the goal is very, very clear that this is why I'm doing. And goal justifies the means. So this is the end which I want. Then all means are correct to achieve this means. Like you want to go to ISKCON NVCC temple. Now, whether you go via Ambega, whether you go by Navle, whether you go by sea, depending on wherever traffic is, wherever you feel comfortable, wherever this end is this only. You have to land up in ISKCON NVCC, not any other place. So then all roads, whatever roads are going on, that's perfect and fine. Okay, Prabhu. Any last 2 points? Yes.
Prabhuji, pseudo mediator.
Pseudo meditator. Yeah, charlatan. That point what was just mentioned. That sincere sweeper in the street is better. Mithyachar. What is mithyachar?
We also told that real renunciation is where we have no attachment to work as well as to the lords.
So real renunciation is the real sannyasi is the person who doesn't have attachment to his work, neither to the results of his work. Okay.
Even when worshipping demigods, we should understand that ultimate goal is Krishna.
Correct. So demigod worship. Can devotees also worship demigods? So yeah, with right understanding. Like we discussed the example of a doctor. But generally it is very difficult to see them as doctor. So that's why. Okay, bro. So continuing ahead, we are now into 3.11 shloka, where the section is coming as, even if you don't want to do karma, if you feel that you should do karma, he's saying. But if you feel that no, at least do karma kanda. At least karma kanda. So Arjuna was asking that I cannot, it is very difficult, Krishna, to do any activity without attachment. You say that do without attachment, but how to do the things without attachment? He said, if you cannot do the things without attachment, at least do the things with attachment, but don't give up the work. So he's saying, do the things with attachment. Attachment means expecting some fruits in the return. No problem. That is karma kand. So verse number 11th we discussed. Now, what happens? So we are coming to the section number 12 now, the verse number 12. What happens that if somebody does not perform yajna? So we know the material world is compared to the prison house. This material world is nothing but a jail. And in jail, a person is supposed to do certain kinds of activities, what are prescribed for him. Cut the stone and do other thing, till the soil, do farming. Many other activities are given to the jail. And if the jail keepers, they do the activities very properly, the in charge, those who are in charge of the jail, they'll become happy with him, and they will provide him all necessities, blanket, roti, kapda, makan, सब कुछ देंगे उनको, right ना? So this material world is also compared to jail. Only thing is, it is little more facilities are given. It is a jail in such a manner that more nice facilities are given and all care has been taken like that. But now suppose somebody is given all facilities, but he does not use those facilities for the service of Lord. Then he is considered to be chore. Like he is eating food, he is taking everything, and he is taking all the facilities, but he does not do any kind of work for the jail or government of the India. Then he said he is considered to be chore. Similarly, so some of us are going to IT companies, some of us are going to government jobs, different jobs. We use the facilities used by government. We use the car of government. We use the cab. We use the laptop of. Now suppose we take a laptop from IT company and we say, "Hey, bol, such a nice 2.2 lakh का laptop दिया है मुझे 1.5 lakh का laptop दिया है." And now I use this laptop for watching movies, and I use this laptop for my own enjoyment, and I don't use at all for company's work. Then he said, "अब तो चोर निकले. You are the chore only." So they said, a chore can never be happy. So the second 12th verse is talking about, you have been given so many facilities by demigods, you have been given so many facilities by Supreme Lord, and you don't use it in service of God, then you are a chore. You are a chore. And chore can never be happy. Chore will be always unhappy. On the verse number 12. इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवा दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविता तैर्दत्तान् अप्रदायैभ्यो यो भुङ्क्ते स्तेन एव स. So the meaning of word ishta means what? Ishtan is desired. इष्ट देव बोलते हैं. इष्ट देव मतलब जो हमारे desires, मतलब जो हमारे desired देव हैं, हमारे इच्छा वाले, जो हमारे भोगान. So the ishtan devan. So as desired, all kinds of bhogans. Bhogan means the facilities to enjoy are given by deva. So all facilities are given by the deva to you. Dasyante yagya bhavita. So when you perform yagya, then you will be given all the necessities of life. But then what? Now you don't enjoy. If you enjoy the gifts without giving it back to the God, then you are a thief. Yes, bro. Whose turn? Please read.
In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to demigods in return is certainly a thief. Purport.
Okay, purport I will, yeah. Yes, bro, purport.
The demigods are authorized as supplying agents on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. Therefore, they must be satisfied by the performance of prescribed yajnas. In the Vedas, there are different kinds of yajnas prescribed for different kinds of demigods, but all are ultimately offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For one who cannot understand what the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, sacrifice to the demigod is recommended. According to different material qualities of the person concerned, different types of yajnas are recommended in the Vedas. Worship of different demigods is also on the same basis, namely according to different qualities. For example, the meat eaters are recommended to worship the goddess Kali, the ghastly form of material nature, and before the goddess, the sacrifice of animal is recommended. But for those who are in the mode of goodness, the transcendental worship of Vishnu is recommended. But ultimately, all yajnas are meant for gradual promotion to the transcendental position. For ordinary men, at least 5 yajnas known as Pancha Mahayajnas are necessary. One should know, however, that all the necessities of life that the human society requires are supplied by the demigods, agents of the Lord. No one can manufacture anything. Take, for example, all the eatables of human society. These eatables include grain, fruit, vegetable, milk, sugar, etc. for the person in the mode of goodness, and also eatable for the non-vegetarians, like meats, none of which can be manufactured by men. Then again, take for example heat, light, water, air, etc., which are also necessities of life. None of them can be manufactured by the human society. Without the Supreme Lord, there can be no profuse sunlight, moonlight, rainfall, breeze, etc., without which no one can live. Obviously, our life is dependent on supplies from the Lord. Even for our manufacturing enterprises, we require so many raw materials like metal, sulfur, mercury, manganese, and so many essentials, all of which are supplied by the agents of the Lord, with the purpose that we should make proper use of them to keep ourselves fit and healthy for the purpose of self-realization, leading to ultimate goal of life, namely liberation from the material struggle for existence. This aim of life is attained by performance of yajna. If you forget the purpose of human life and simplify simply take supplies from the agents of the Lord for sense gratification and become more and more entangled in material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves, and therefore we are punished by the laws of material nature. A society of thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. The gross materialistic thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed to sense gratification, nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yajnas. Lord Chaitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yajna, namely the Sankirtan yajna, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accepts the principle of Krishna consciousness.
This when I read this verse, I remember the Discover Yourself session number 1. Why Discover Yourself session number 1? This is like can a scientist believe in God? You know? So Srila Prabhupada writes here, the first statement it is mentioned here is authorized supplying agents. Demigods are authorized supplying agents. So for every organization or any company which is marketing the products, they are authorized dealers. Like Samsung authorized dealer, Apple authorized dealer, Lenovo authorized dealer. Now, what is authorized dealer? What is meaning of an authorized dealer?
A person who has given the charge to supply the goods.
So one who has a license. So does the good belong to him? He's an agent. The good belongs to the Dell company. He's an authorized dealer. He's a different shop. He's not the Dell. It means both are not Dell. He's not Dell. He's a dealer. He can take products from there and he can give it to you. And so similarly, we can understand demigods, whatever we want, they take from Supreme Lord and they give to us. They are called as authorized dealers, supplying agents, authorized dealers. They are not the main gods. So now if we go to authorized dealing shop and we say, thoda kam kar do na price mere liye, thoda kar do na, they may do it also. But if you want little big, actually we have to understand that they are taking products from Supreme Lord. And authorized dealers, they can give discounts. Na? They can give discounts, they can create promo codes, they can create offers, they themselves also can do. Similarly, every demigod can do those things. Chalo mera ye kar lo, chalo aapko itna discount milega, ye milega. But we have to understand that they are taking all the goods from the main agent, the main supplier, that is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Srila Prabhupada is using the word authorized supplying agent. They are authorized people. Now, there are sometimes unauthorized people also. Unauthorized dealers. What is unauthorized dealers? Who are those who are unauthorized dealers? ऐसा कोई वर्ड पब्लिकली लिखा नहीं रहता है, कोई लिखता नहीं कि हम अनऑथराइज डीलर्स है, बट व्हाट इज मीनिंग ऑफ अनऑथराइज डीलर्स? ब्लैक में बेचने वाले, चोरी का माल, फैक्ट्री वाला माल। सो दे सेड कि वो रास्ते में आके ट्रक पे बांटते हैं, चोर बाजार में बांटते हैं, देखा ना, अनऑथराइज डीलर्स। सो दे आर अनऑथराइज डीलर्स. सो डेमिगॉड वर्शिप इज स्टिल अ बोनाफाइड वे ऑफ वर्शिप, but any other kind of worship, that is not proper. Now it is said yagyas they satisfy the yagyas are the ways. Yagyas, like you sacrifice, you give Lakshmi to them, the agents. So that similarly, to please the demigod, you have to do yagya. Now there are 5 kinds of mahayagya which are being mentioned. Anyone knows what is the 5 kinds of mahayagya which are necessary? Which pancha mahayagya are necessary? Who knows? Okay. Pancha Mahayagya. There are 5 Mahayagyas which are necessary for every human being. Because we commit 5 kinds of sin. Or anyone in this world, we commit 5 kinds of sin. And to purify them, there are 5 kinds of Mahayagya which are being mentioned. So उसका नाम एग्जैक्ट टेक्निकल पता कर लेना क्या होता है. और कुछ यज्ञ तो आपको पता ही है, मतलब जो अलग यज्ञ भी है वो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है. जैसे कि अंत्येष्टि. अंत्येष्टि मतलब अंतिम संस्कार. देन बर्थ, गर्भाधान. गर्भाधान इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट संस्कारा. और दैट इज संस्कारा. दिस इज यज्ञ. विवाह यज्ञ. सो दिस ऑल आर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट यज्ञस. बट ये 5 यज्ञ कौन से पता करके लाओ कल. वेदाबेस पे थोड़ा सर्च मारो, देखो एग्जैक्ट नाम, टेक्निकल नाम क्या है सबके. सो now here in this paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is taking one amazing thing. He said, थोड़ा ग्रेटिट्यूड लाओ जीवन में. कितना लेते हो भगवान से, कितना लेते हो भर भर के. ग्रेन्स ले रहे हो, फ्रूट्स ले रहे हो, वेजिटेबल्स ले रहे हो, मिल्क ले रहे हो, शुगर ले रहे हो, कितना हीट ले रहे हो, फायर ले रहे हो, वाटर ले रहे हो, लेकिन कभी भी थोड़ा भी टाइम निकाल के भगवान को चुकाते नहीं हो. तो ये तो ये सेड कि ये तो क्या कहता मीन्स, ये तो कृतज्ञ नहीं कृतज्ञ हो गया है वैसा व्यक्ति. कि मतलब एहसान फरामोश ऐसा बोलते हैं ना. क्या कहते हैं एहसान फरामोश, मतलब क्या होता है? इट्स उर्दू वर्ड ना, एहसान फरामोश. हिंदी नहीं.
कुछ काम
एहसान लिया आपने लेकिन उसको नहीं चुकाया. एहसान फरामोश है हम भगवान के प्रति. इतना सब कुछ लेते हैं लेकिन हम बिल्कुल चुकाते नहीं. सल्फर ले रहे हैं, मैग्नीज ले रहे हैं, मर्क्यूरी ले रहे हैं, सब कुछ ले रहे हैं, लेकिन कुछ भी चुका नहीं रहे हैं भगवान के लिए. सो इसे ऐसा व्यक्ति जो भगवान से सब कुछ लेता है, चुकाता नहीं, तो नेचुरली चोर है वो. और कोई चोर है तो वो कभी खुश नहीं रह सकता. तो इस कलयुग में संकीर्तन यज्ञ. ना मुझे एक क्वेश्चन आता है, चलो आपको एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन विचार करने वाला. कि यज्ञ करके ऐसा कितने लोगों ने आप में से सुना है कि जब हम यज्ञ करते हैं तो डेमिगॉड्स को खाना यज्ञ से मिलता है? सुना है आपने सब? डेमिगॉड्स का खाना क्या होता है? यज्ञ होता है ना, हम यज्ञ करते हैं. तो मुझे एक बात बताओ, यज्ञ में हम क्या चढ़ाते हैं? जनरली जो वैदिक यज्ञ भी होते थे उसमें क्या चढ़ाया जाता था? घी, बनाना, और हनी, फ्रूट्स, ग्रेन्स, दही, दूध, और जो भी एनिमल सपोज सब चढ़ाया है. डेमिगॉड यही सब खाते हैं क्या? डेमिगॉड ये सब ऐसा क्या केला खाते हैं, और वो भी हमारा सड़ा हुआ केला, ऑर्गेनिक इनऑर्गेनिक, और उसमें घी भी एकदम A1 A0 A20 क्या घी है पता नहीं. और फ्रूट्स में भी बनाना, मतलब बनाना ही खाएंगे क्या सिर्फ वो? क्या एक्चुअल में कैसे डेमिगॉड्स खाते हैं यज्ञ के द्वारा? किसको पता है?
demigods ने देखो आगे. It is like the fire in the mouth of
विष्णु.
so he
तो विष्णु ने खाया, हाँ. तो
Vishnu takes the
रोड को देखे पूरा प्लांट हो जाएगा वैसे.
कैसे, बस क्या खाते क्या है वो? हम तो ऐसा सुना था ना, हम जो डालते हैं टैक्स वो खाते हैं वो.
सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट टैक्स आता है वैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होता है मतलब
तो ये केला, घी, घी और ये सब, बस और कुछ नहीं. ओके प्रभु, ऑनलाइन.
Prabhuji, it is said when once Prabhuji, it is said when stomach is satisfied, all the limbs will automatically be satisfied. So Vishnu is satisfied by yajna, so demigods will also get their proportion to Vishnu.
Okay, okay, very good. Thank you. पर खाते सचमुच कुछ खाते हैं क्या वंश में, कि यही खाते हैं केला वेला हमारा? अगर ऐसा है तो डेमीगॉड बनना खतरा है, वॉइस में रहना अच्छा है। अच्छा, डेमीगॉड बन के क्या केला थोड़ी खाएंगे सबके हम, केले वो भी सड़े हुए केले? दैट इज नॉट। सो व्हाट इट मीन्स, लाइक एंड नाउ कलयुग में तो कोई खिला ही नहीं रहा है, कलयुग में कोई यज्ञ ही नहीं कर रहा, तो डेमीगॉड का फास्टिंग चल रहा है या क्या चल रहा है? उनको कुछ मिल रहा है कि नहीं मिल रहा है? So, what is the science is actually it is like as Kaushik Prabhu said, it is not exactly the commodity which they are eating. It is not commodity. मतलब आप उसको फुलफिल करो, ऑटोमेटिक उनको अपना सबको सबको अपना अपना मिल जाता है, राइट ना? लाइक आप कंपनी के लिए काम करते हो, आप अपना कंपनी के लिए काम करते हो, सब लोग अपना अपना काम करते हैं, कंपनी को बराबर जो होता है प्रॉफिट होता है, सब लोगों का पेट भर जाता है। आपने बोला यार मैं तो लैपटॉप यज्ञ किया, मैंने मेरा यज्ञ क्या था, मैंने लैपटॉप पे कुछ कोड लिखा, खड़ 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 खड़, तो उन्होंने कोड खाया क्या? कंपनी ने कोड नहीं खाया है। इट इज नॉट अ कोड, इट इज अ वर्क एंड डिवोशन विच यू आर गिवन टू योर कंपनी, and in the result you get all your necessities fulfilled, or everyone gets necessities fulfilled. Similarly, it is not that कि अभी कंपनी में कुछ लोग काम नहीं करते, तो ऐसा नहीं कि कंपनी बंद हो जाता है करके, कम कुछ लोग काम नहीं करते। सो इट इज नॉट दैट कि हम कंपनी को केला खिला रहे हैं, ऐसा कर रहा है। इट इज अ एक्ट ऑफ सैक्रिफाइस विच इज डन, दैट इज मेंटेनिंग द एंटायर कंपनी। सब लोग सैक्रिफाइस कर रहे हैं, हाँ, सबके सब सैक्रिफाइस बंद कर दिया अगर कंपनी में, तो बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन क्वेश्चन वाला बात है। अरे मतलब कैसे कंपनी चलेगा कैसे? सो नाउ इन कलियुगा द ओनली यज्ञ विच इज टू बी डन इज अ संकीर्तन यज्ञ। सो सैक्रिफाइस मीन्स खाने का मतलब इट्स नॉट ओनली फूड प्रोडक्ट, it's a sacrifice. So the work which is to be done. So that is Sankirtan Yajna. So when we do Sankirtan Yajna, Lord Vishnu is satisfied and demigods are also satisfied and everyone will get. So basically the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices to please the Lord Vishnu. That is the ultimate purpose. Yes, Kaushik Bro.
When we are doing yajna for a particular demigod, so will that demigod only get the proportion through Vishnu, or the other demigods will also get? Because
No,
suppose if
bro.
yajna is
Any kind of yajna when it is done, the share has to be divided. There is a sharing concept. Like we know that uh, there was a curse on the Lord Shiva in the Brugumani, that Brugumani and that not Brugumani, that episode, the fighting happens between the sages that no. So that time Daksha wala party and this. So Shivaji got curse that will not give the share of all yajnas to our will not give the share of yajna to Shivji. That was the point. So different demigods, when they are worshipped, they give all the credit to Vishnu, and then the division of the commission happens to all the demigods of the credits. So how it happens, how it doesn't happen, technically कैसे होता है वो सब समझता नहीं है। जैसे मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो इनकंसीवेबल है, एक नंबर मोबाइल पे करके गूगल पे में आप पैसा चला आता है, वो कैसे हो जाता है पता नहीं चलता है। लाइक एक बटन दबाते हैं और पिज्ज़ा ऑर्डर हो जाता है। मैं बटन दबा के पिज़्ज़ा कैसे आया? वो बटन दबाया, मैं तो यहाँ पे बटन दबाया और पिज़्ज़ा आ गया, कैसे आ गया ऐसा समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। तो मटेरियल चीज़ें जैसे मटेरियल चीज़ें इनकंसीवेबल है बहुत सारी, स्पिरिचुअल चीज़ें भी इनकंसीवेबल है, कि जैसे चैंटिंग करके डेमीगॉड का पेट भरता है, मैं इधर चैंटिंग करता हूँ और यहाँ से डेमीगॉड का पेट भरता है, कैसे भरता है वो? ये स्पिरिचुअल टेक्नोलॉजी है, क्या टेक्नोलॉजी हमें नहीं पता।
तो
ओके।
प्रभु जी, अगर अपन एक पर्टिकुलर डेमिगॉड को सेटिस्फाई करना चाहते हैं स्पेशली, तो भी सारे में शेयर इक्वल डिवाइड होगा, है ना?
मैं भी थोड़ा पता नहीं इतना प्रभु इसके बारे में, मुझे क्या होता है, थोड़ा कर्मकांड पढ़ाई करना पड़ेगा उसके लिए। समूह
थैंक
कर्मकांड
यू।
कृष्णा ने हमें सिखाया है, भगवद गीता में हमको रूपा ने ज्यादा कर्मकांड बताया नहीं, तो हम आई थिंक ज्यादा पता नहीं उसके बारे में, क्योंकि कर्मकांड इज वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, दैट मच तो वी नो, इट्स वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स थिंग, बट एग्जैक्टली नहीं पता। यस वैभव प्रभु।
Prabhuji, to be extend for this, everything, every yajna is directly, indirectly goes to the Lord Vishnu. Then, Prabhuji, how do we relate the animal sacrifices in the yajna? Like recently, are many things are happening. Like meat eater are mostly focusing on the meat eating is also recommended in Vedas and like this. So, Prabhuji, how we relate this?
Okay, this is a very famous question. Any online devotees would like to answer about why meat eating is prescribed in Shastras?
Prabhu ji, according to the level of the people, different things are prescribed. So generally, one example is given, just like your child, we say 2 minus 1 is 1. But when he asks about 1 minus 2, we say it is not possible. But when his level increases in 4th standard, 5th standard, and we tell, so according to the level of people in which mode they are, ignorance, passion, or goodness, the particular mode of means approaching the Lord is explained. So those who are in the mode of ignorance, it is told, it is prescribed that okay, you can eat meat by offering to Kali, because they cannot take directly the mode of worship of goodness.
Okay.
Then Prabhuji, this is also distributed to like अभी कौशिक प्रभु ने पूछा था ना क्वेश्चन कि
ओ अच्छा अच्छा, आपका कहना है कि काली को अगर किसी ने मांस चढ़ाया तो वो भी विष्णु के पास जाता है क्या?
राइट
पहली बात तो काली तो लेती ही नहीं है, तो मतलब काली भी मांस नहीं खाती है, पहली बात वो भी डिवोटी है, तो काली भी मांस और वो नहीं खाती है वो। ऐसा नहीं, बेसिकली इट इज नॉट अ कमोडिटी विच इज गोइंग प्रभु, हमारे कलयुग की सड़ी हुई कमोडिटीज भगवान को, डेमिगॉड्स को नहीं चाहिए, वो लोग बहुत अच्छा क्वालिटी का खाते हैं खाना, लेकिन इट इज ओनली अ सैक्रिफाइस। सैक्रिफाइस मतलब बेसिकली उसने अपना प्लेजर सैक्रिफाइस किया, उसने अपना टाइम सैक्रिफाइस किया, द्रव्य सैक्रिफाइस किया, उसने अपना कुछ तो सैक्रिफाइस किया। तो ये जो सैक्रिफाइस की जो भावना है, सैक्रिफाइस जाता है, इट इज नॉट द एग्जैक्टली आइटम। और पहली बात, तामसिक यज्ञ जो है वो भगवान भगवान तो लेते नहीं है, इट इज ओनली मेंट फॉर द प्लेजर ऑफ। काली भी प्रसन्न नहीं होती उससे, लेकिन बेचारा लोगों को कुछ तो करना है, खाना है, एंजॉयमेंट करना है, तो एटलीस्ट शी इज हैप्पी। भगवान ने ऐसा बनाया कि चलो जिसको तामसिक सैक्रिफाइस करना है आप काली की वर्शिप करो, वो एक्सेप्ट करेगी आपसे, वो एक्सेप्ट करेगी लाइक दैट। सो काली लेती है, भगवान तो लेते नहीं है उसको। एटलीस्ट पत्रम पुष्पम फलम नौतोयम वर्स में क्लियरली लिखा है, लॉर्ड डजंट एक्सेप्ट सच आइटम्स एंड सच कमोडिटीज और सच sacrifice. But indirectly, yes, because they are sacrificed for the pleasure of Kali, they will soon get elevated. They will gradually get elevated in their consciousness. So those who are actually doing Kali worship and very systematically with the proper consciousness, soon they will come to Sattva-guna. Soon they will stop it. Soon they will stop it.
Prabhuji, but
Okay, I
they
think.
they get bad karma
Yeah,
or
yeah.
good karma? Because the killing animal is getting the bad karma. So this is yajna. Then we will get bad karma or good karma from this.
Actually, their life is full of bad karmas only, Prabhu. It is like, there's nothing bad or good here. Everything is bad only here. Because somebody is smoking 30 cigarettes, only Kali is helping him to smoke 5 cigarettes. So now somebody will say कि 5 cigarettes smoking करके bad karma मिलेगा या good karma मिलेगा? सब कर्मा ही है, bad कर्मा ही है। बंधन, डेमिगॉड वर्शिप ही बंधन का कारण है। डेमिगॉड वर्शिप में कर्मा ही है, पूरा कर्मा ही कर्मा है। लेकिन ये दिस इज लाइक -30 था, अभी -5 कर दिया। मतलब इट वॉज -30 में कर्मा था तो -5 कर दिया उन्होंने, तो इन वन सेंस इट इज एन एडवांसमेंट। तो अच्छा कर्मा बुरा कर्मा सब बंधन का कारण है मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में। तो ये एटलीस्ट बुरा कर्मा था जिसके लिए सफरिंग आने वाला था, तो काली को वर्शिप करके बेचारे का सफरिंग थोड़ा कम होने वाला है। दैट इज द ओनली थिंग, थोड़ा कम होने वाला है सफरिंग। कर्मा तो है ही, कर्मा कोई भी डेमिगॉड वर्शिप से निकल नहीं सकता है, ओनली लॉर्ड विष्णु मुक्ति प्रदाता सर्वेशाम, दैट इज लॉर्ड विष्णु। Yes, read this, Prabhu. 5 great sacrifices.
The 5 great sacrifices consist of sacrifice to Pitras, worship of Devas, recitation of the Vedas, feeding humans, and feeding other living entities, and other rites is a thief.
So क्या क्या? एक है पितृ पूजा, बाद में देव पूजा, बाद में वेदों का पठन, चौथा इन लोगों को खिलाना, और पांचवा दूसरे लोगों को खिलाना। तो ये सेड कम से कम जो स्पेशली मटेरियलिस्टिक प्लेटफॉर्म पे है, कितना भी मटेरियलिस्टिक व्यक्ति हो, कितना भी मटेरियलिस्टिक हो, उसको ये 5 जगह तो करना ही चाहिए। दूसरों को खिलाओ, कम से कम अपना खाना जो है खुद मत खाओ, दूसरों को भी खिलाओ, थोड़ा एनिमल्स को भी खिलाओ। एनिमल्स पे भी आपका बहुत डिपेंडेंस है, हमारा एनिमल्स पे बहुत डिपेंडेंस है। तो हम एनिमल हमारे डे टू डे लाइफ में हम देख नहीं रहे, लेकिन हमारा पूरा लाइफ एनिमल्स पे डिपेंडेंट है। पता है क्यों? कैसे हमारा लाइफ एनिमल्स पे डिपेंडेंट है? ओके, काऊ वैसा ठीक है, चलो मैं दूध भी पीता नहीं तो भी मैं डिपेंडेंट हूँ।
कंपोस्ट वगैरह में बहुत सारे लगते हैं,
सब कुछ पूरा खेती से लेके और पूरा इकोलॉजी चल रहा है, एनिमल ही चला रहे हैं ना, इंसेक्ट्स, बाद में एनिमल्स, बर्ड्स ही पोलन पोलन कर रहे हैं, सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, तो वी आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन देम। इतना उनसे फेवर लिया है हमने, So he said, you have to feed the other living entities. कम से कम किसी को खिलाओ, ह्यूमंस को खिलाओ, वेदास पढ़ो और देवता की भी पूजा करो. स्पेशली दिस इज मेनली फॉर दोज आर नॉट डिवोटीज. एंड पितृस की पूजा करो. कुछ तो सैक्रिफाइस करो, सैक्रिफाइस मत छोड़ो, ऐसा बताया यहाँ पे. डिवोटी नहीं हो तो भी सैक्रिफाइस करना है. ओके, वेरी फेमस वर्स नाउ. वर्स नंबर 13. यज्ञशिष्टाशिना शंतो मोचन. ये हमने पढ़ा था क्या लास्ट टाइम? कल पढ़ा था क्या हमने ये? नहीं ना? तो ये श्लोक आने वाला है आपके एग्जाम में, याद कर लो. यज्ञशिष्टाशिना शंतो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल विषय भुंजते ते अगम पापम ये पचन्ति आत्मकारणात्. यज्ञ शिष्टा शिनः. तो यहाँ पे वर्ड्स बहुत अच्छे हैं. यज्ञ शिष्टा. यज्ञ शिष्टा मीन्स द फूड विच इज टेकन आफ्टर परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ यज्ञ. यज्ञ शिष्टा मतलब बेसिकली प्रसाद. सो प्रसाद. आसीनः अशिनः, ये वर्ड और भी आता है. असनी, अशीन, अशीन या असनामी. असनामी वर्ड कहाँ पे आता है? अशनामी. अशनामी मीन्स कहाँ, ये वर्ड कहाँ पे आता है और कौन से श्लोक में आता है?
कृष्णामि प्रयतात्मनः.
अशनामी, अशनामी, आसीना. तो बेसिकली खाता हूँ. भगवान कहते हैं मैं खाता हूँ उसको. यहाँ पे जो प्रसाद खाता है उसको बोला जाता है संत. जो प्रसाद खाएगा, यज्ञ शिष्टा सना संतो, वो बन गया संत. मुच्यन्ते. मुच्यन्ते मतलब छुटकारा मिलेगा उसको. मुच्यन्ते मुक्ति मिलेगा. मुच्यन्ते मतलब मुक्ति मिलेगा. सर्व सब प्रकार के किल विषय, जो भी पाप है. किल विषय मतलब जो किलबिल चल रहा है उसके हृदय में. किलबिल, किलबिल मतलब सब पाप चल रहा है, गड़बड़ चल रही है. तो सारे किलबिलों से छुटकारा प्राप्त होगा. मुच्यन्ते मिलेगा. कब मिलेगा? जब यज्ञ शिष्टाशिनो संत खाएगा. संत जो है वो यज्ञ शिष्ट खाएगा, जो यज्ञ का महाप्रसाद है वो खाएगा. लेकिन भुंजते, भुंजते मतलब जो खाता है, ये यज्ञ शिष्ट नहीं है, ये भोजन करता है. तो हम भोजन नहीं करते. कई बार हम बोलते हैं ना कि प्रभु आप भोजन करोगे? नहीं, भोजन करोगे तो नहीं. भोजन मतलब भोज करना, मतलब भोग करना. हम भोग नहीं करते, हम प्रसाद की सेवा करते हैं. तो कोई हम भोजन नहीं करते. भुंजनते ते अघम पापम. अघम बहुत खतरनाक पाप लगने वाले हैं ऐसे व्यक्ति को. अघम, अघम मतलब अघासुर. अघम मतलब अघासुर को याद करना. अघासुर मतलब पाप का प्रतीक. तो एक क्रोकोडाइल खा लेगा हमको. अघम. अगर जो व्यक्ति हमेशा अगर नॉन प्रसाद खाते हैं ना, तो अघासुर को याद करना चाहिए. जब नॉन प्रसाद खा रहे हैं मतलब अघासुर हमको डिवोर कर रहा है. एक अघासुर के मुंह में हम जा रहे हैं. कब? अघम पापम ये पचंती, जो फूड को पचा रहे हैं और पका रहे हैं. पचंती मतलब पचाना भी और पकाना. ये पचंती, पकाना. आत्म कारणात. तो ऐसा व्यक्ति जो आत्म कारणात अपने कारण के लिए पचंती कर रहा है या बना रहा है खाना, तो ऐसा व्यक्ति पाप से, पाप अगासुर नाम के पाप के रूप में वो अंदर घुसने वाला है. ये यज्ञ शिष्टा शिनाशंत मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल विषय. तो दिस इज द श्लोका. अब नकुल ग्रुप को बता सकते हैं कि क्यों प्रसाद लेना चाहिए. बाकी जो भी खाऊंगा प्रसाद खाऊंगा, प्रसाद के अलावा कुछ नहीं खाऊंगा. तो ऐसा हमने प्रतिज्ञा लेना चाहिए. यस ब्रो. किसका टर्न है? पढ़िए.
The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. Purport: the devotees of the Supreme Lord or the persons who are in Krishna consciousness are called santas, and they are always in love with the Lord as it is described in the Brahma Samhita. प्रेमाञ्जनचूरित भक्तिविलोचनेन सन्ता सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति. The santas, being always in the compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the giver of all pleasures, or Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all-attractive person, cannot accept anything without first offering it to the Supreme Person. Therefore, such devotees always perform yajnas in different modes of devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, etc. And these performances of yajnas keep them always aloof from all kinds of combination of sinful association in the material world. Others who prepare food for self or sense gratification are not only thieves but also the eaters of all kinds of sins. How can a person be happy if he is both a thief and sinful? It is not possible. Therefore, in order for people to become happy in all respects, they must be taught to perform the easy process of Sankirtan Yajna in full Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there can be no peace or happiness in the world.
Certain words which I like very much. Prabhupada ka jo English hai and the kind of words which Prabhupada used. So in the previous verse, charlatan meditator word came. And before that, so many different words were coming. Na? Like authorized supplying agents. And now, Srila Prabhupada is here writing here, Santas are on the compact of love. Compact of love. Compact मतलब क्या होता है प्रभु? What is meaning of word compact?
Small size, मतलब छोटा पैकेट में
Condensed.
हाँ
बहुत ज्यादा भर भर के मुझे फिट किया है.
Condensed.
Condensed.
वो नहीं वो कंडेंस होता है कॉम्पैक्ट
Compact.
एकदम चिपक के मतलब होता है ना जैसे फेस पे लगाते हैं कॉम्पैक्ट
कॉम्पैक्ट पाउडर.
कॉम्पैक्ट पाउडर पता है फेस पैक लगाते हैं ऐसा वो एकदम चिपक जाता है चेहरे पे तो आपका ऐसा लगता है कि गोरा बन जाता है आदमी कालापन निकल जाता है उसका पूरा ना कॉम्पैक्ट एकदम क्लोज हम एकदम वो इतना खतरनाक कॉम्पैक्ट बैठे थे हम एकदम चिपक चिपक के बैठे थे ट्रेन के अंदर राइट कॉम्पैक्ट तो संत मतलब कॉम्पैक्ट ऑफ लव लव के एकदम निकट है वो एकदम चिपक के भगवान के चिपक के बैठे हैं कॉम्पैक्ट ऑफ लव संत और ये संत बनने का मार्ग बताया है संत बनने का सबसे आसान तरीका क्या है जो भी खाओ भगवान को अर्पण करके खाओ इससे संत बन जाएगा आदमी राइट क्योंकि ये लव का कॉम्पैक्ट है लव का बॉन्ड है ये तो यहाँ पे एक स्टेटमेंट जो प्रभुपाद कह रहे हैं कि डिवोटीज जो है वो अलग अलग प्रकार के यज्ञ करते हैं श्रवण यज्ञ करेंगे जैसे हम अभी श्रवण यज्ञ कर रहे हैं सुबह मंगल आरती किया कीर्तन यज्ञ किया जप किया स्मरण यज्ञ किया हम भी 9 प्रकार के यज्ञ करते रहते हैं हम 5 नहीं हम 9 यज्ञ करते हैं डेली श्रवणम कीर्तनम स्मरणम वंदनम दास्यम तो इसे 9 प्रकार के यज्ञों में हम इस प्रकार से जोड़ते हैं और जो इस प्रकार के यज्ञों में जोड़ता है तो ही सेड देन सच अ पर्सन विल बी ऑलवेज हैप्पी तो यहाँ पे एक अंडरलाइन थीम आ रहा है बार बार कृष्णा कह रहे हैं कि सैक्रिफाइस करो सैक्रिफाइस करो सैक्रिफाइस करो ऐसा रिनंसिएशन मत लो कर्म करो कर्म छोड़ोगे तो नहीं होगा तो इस सेट सैक्रिफाइस करो तो हमारा जो स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ है इट इज नॉट अबाउट गिविंग अप द एक्टिविटीज embracing many other Krishna conscious activity that is about spiritual life. So Vishwanath Chakra Thakur also writes here. So again, like usually at the noon time in Vrindavan, now also if you go in Vrindavan and in UP and also, some food is offered to many animals also every day. Like especially Gujarati Parivar family, Marwadi also I think they have this concept. Give 1 chapati for cow, give 1 chapati for dog, give 1 chapati for bandar, give some food to pigeons. Like all those things are there. So because give something at least, learn to give something. So you know that story, na? The cash and ash story. Cash ash story. Who knows cash and ash story? Okay. Once upon a time, there was one saintly person. He used to go every day for asking bhiksha in different homes. And there was one particular lady. This lady was so envious and so selfish. She never used to give anything to this sadhu. Always used to shout like anything. इतना गाली देती थी इतना ये करती थी बोले बहुत she used to always shout at this person. But every day, the sadhu used to go to her house and ask, Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. And this Mataji will come and sometimes throw and abuse him and make him not pay attention. But every day, this sadhu used to go and ask, Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. So one day, this lady got super upset. Super upset. And you know what she did? She just took some rak liya usne rak. He said, yeah, today I have a lot of rak, today I have a lot of dakshina to give to you. Come. तो उसका पूरा राख बचा होगा पूरा फायरवुड का राख अगरबत्ती का राख सबका राख बचा होगा उसने पैक करके उसको दे दिया ये लो बस साधु बाबा तुम्हारे लिए कुछ तो अच्छा देता हूँ तुम लोग राख काम आएगा तुमको लो राख and this Prabhuji this sadhu said thank you very much now thank you very much and other sadhus started asking Are bhai, why you go to this lady at all she shouts at you, she chastises you. Said, my dharma is to beg. And I want that why my dharma is to beg? Because she has to learn the art of sacrifice, something. So today she has sacrificed ash. Tomorrow she will sacrifice cash. Today she has sacrificed ash. Tomorrow she will also sacrifice some cash. So he said, this has to be learned. Sacrifice has to be learned. कुछ तो sacrifice करना सीखना चाहिए. So that's why in this purport also these yagyas are mentioned. Small yagyas. So, and now why these 5 yagyas are mentioned? So, all of us commit 5 kinds of sinful activities, no matter who are you, even a devotee, a non-devotee, anyone in this world, we commit 5 violent actions, panchashuna. So, this is the shloka for that. Sometimes you might have heard this, but this is a shloka. Yes, Prabhu, someone can read. What are the 5 violent actions?
The 5 violent actions, Panchasana, are described in the Smriti. Kandani,
केशानि चुली उदकुंभी च मार्जनी पंचशून गृहस्थस्य ताभि स्वर्गम न विन्दति. So generally this is for grihastha devotees, especially this, like, now everyone will commit these 5 activities, but they have to do this yagyas for this. What are the 5 sins which everyone is forced to do?
The Grihastha does not enjoy Swarga by commission of the 5 violent actions towards other living entities caused by using the mortar, grinding stone, the stove, a broom, and water pot. Vishnu Smriti 59, 19.20.
Yeah. So they said these are the 5 activities which we do. We use the khalbatta, we use grinding stone, we use the mortar, we use the stove fire, we broom, we put water, we inhale also. Somewhere it is said even inhale. So 5 sins are happening for everyone, and for getting freed from these 5 kinds of sin, the 5 yagyas are mentioned. Okay. Now, how the grains are produced and what is the cycle? Why it is very important to do yagya. Again, so he's convincing him, Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna that it is important to yagya. It is important to do karma. You cannot say that karma should be given up. And this is from a karma kand level. Annad bhavanti bhutani parajanyad anna sambhava yagnyad bhavati parajanyo yagna karma samudbhava. So, certain vital words in the last shloka were which one? Devotee Santaha. Santaha means what? Santaha?
A person who
Devotees. Yagnashishta. Yagnashishta means prasadam. Pachanti. Pachanti means those who prepare. And Atmakarana for selfish enjoyment. Agham. Agham means very, very sinful. So, like this also in this shloka, there are certain very beautiful words which are there. Parajanya. Parajanya means what? Rains. Rains are called as parajanya. And yagnyat bhavati parajanyo. Only when you do yagya, then rains come. When rains come, then anna sambhava happens. Anna is possible by rains. Yagnyat bhavati parajanyo. And yagnya karma samudbhava. So yagyas are possible only when you do karmas. Some whatever nitya karmas are there. So yagna karma samudbhava. Yes, Prabhu. Please read. Who's turn? Hare Krishna.
Your internet is, I think,
Internet खराब है.
All living bodies subsist on the food grains,
Now it is coming,
which are
not coming.
produced.
Yes, Prabhuji, coming.
1 minute. I'll try to shift to another network. Just a minute. Jio comes or Airtel comes? Airtel ki Jio? एक second.
Prabhuji, it is okay now.
Yes, Prabhu. Continue.
All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced from performance of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duties.
Yeah, so it is said all creatures arise from food, food arises from rain, rain arises from sacrifice, and sacrifice come from prescribed action. So सब लोग खाना खा के आगे
Voice में होगा.
मर जाएंगे. So he said this is very important. That's why to do the yajna. Yes, bro. Please read.
Yes, sir, page left.
Yes, bro. Please read.
Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, a great commentator on Bhagavad Gita, writes as follows. Ye indriyat sangatya vashtam yagnam sarve swaram vishnum abhyat.
Okay, you can skip it. You can read from here.
The Supreme Lord, who is known as the Yajna Purusha, or the personal beneficiary of all sacrifice, is the master of all demigods, who serve him as the different limbs of body serves the whole. Demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna are appointed officers who manage material affairs, and the Vedas direct sacrifices to satisfy these demigods so that they may be pleased to supply air, light, water sufficiently to produce food grain. When Lord Krishna is worshipped, the demigods who are different limbs of the Lord are also automatically worshipped. Therefore, there is no separate need to worship the demigods. For this reason, the devotee of the Lord who are in Krishna consciousness offer food to Krishna and then eat, a process which nourishes the body spiritually. By such action, not only are past sinful reactions in the body vanquished, but the body becomes immunized to all contamination of material nature. When there is an epidemic disease, an antiseptic vaccine protects a person from the attack of such an epidemic. Similarly, food offered to Lord Vishnu and then taken by us makes us sufficiently distant to material affection. And one who is accustomed to this practice is called a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness who eats only food offered to Krishna can counteract all reaction of past material infections, which are impediments to the process of self-realization. On the other hand, who does not do so continue and increase the volume of sinful action. And this prepares the next body to resemble hogs and dogs, to suffer the resultant reaction of all sins. The material world is full of contamination, and one who is immunized by accepting prasadam of the Lord, food offered to Vishnu, is saved from the attack. Whereas one who does not do so becomes subjected to contamination. Food grains or vegetables are factually eatable. The human beings eat different kinds of food grains, vegetables, fruits, etc. And the animal eats the refuse of the food grains and vegetables, grass, plants, etc. Human beings who are accustomed to eating meat and flesh must also depend on the production of vegetation in order to eat the animals. Therefore, ultimately we have to depend on the production of the field and not on the production of the big factories. The field production is due to sufficient rain from the sky, and such rains are controlled by demigods like Indra, Sun, Moon, etc. And they are all servants of the Lord. The Lord can be satisfied with sacrifice. Therefore, one who cannot perform them will find himself in scarcity. There is the law, that is the law of nature. Yajna specifically the Sankirtan Yajna prescribed for this age must therefore be performed to save us or save us at least from the scarcity of food supply.
Now, let's do a little think about discussion about, and this is okay. I'll just share. So in this verse number 14, Krishna is mentioning about, but Prabhupada is mentioning about certain things. First, he mentions about importance of prasadam. How prasadam is a vital anga of bhakti. So Srila Prabhupada mentions about that prasadam is the most important thing to render bhakti is prasadam. Because Prabhupada also mentioned that in purport that there are so many impediments in our spiritual life. Right? Due to the past contamination which we have got. Our consciousness is affected, our habits are affected, our consciousness is affected. And they are all directly connected with the food we eat. If we don't eat prasad, then more and more sins are happening. And we are getting implicated more and more, right? So this is the thing happening. Now we need basically prasadam. And Krishna to prepare prasadam, that's why we need what? Food grains. Because Krishna doesn't accept meat and all these things. Now to get the food grains, the most important thing is what? Farming. Now to get the farming, the most important thing is what? Rains. And to get the rains, the most important thing is yajna. So he said how yagyas are the most important. If yajna is not done, there will be no rains, no farming, no farming, no food grains, no food, nothing to offer to Krishna. We cannot offer the factories to Krishna, the nuts and from the factories. So, and he said, then our habits and consciousness will not improve and they'll not go back to Godhead. So everything is connected here to this performance of yajna. And Srila Prabhupada will again and again refer yajna to the Sankirtan yajna. Right? Srila Prabhupada will refer it to as Sankirtan yajna. That Sankirtan yajna has to be done. So now Prabhupada mentioned also one thing, scarcity comes if yajna is not performed. Now my question to all of you, we find there are so many devotees, although they are doing bhakti, but sometimes they are little poor. And there are so many materialistic people, they are very atheistic. Neither they worship demigod, neither they do anything, but still they are rich. How it is possible? It is mentioned that scarcity will come if yajna is not performed. And we find sometimes some devotees are rich, they are poor. And some people, those who don't perform yajna, they're all materialistic people drinking wine, intoxication, everything. But still they are very rich. But it is mentioned scarcity comes. How is it so? Okay, anyone would like to enlighten us?
क्वेश्चन क्या था?
क्वेश्चन ये है, जो लोग यज्ञ नहीं कर रहे कलयुग में, वो लोग भी आज हम देखते हैं बहुत रिच है, और डिवोटीज, कुछ डिवोटीज है जो यज्ञ करते हैं, चैंटिंग करते हैं, सब करते हैं, लेकिन बेचारे गरीब हैं. ऐसा क्यों?
Past karma.
Okay. Yes,
Vijit, can I?
Okay.
Dude, I think no devotees prove like there is no scarcity of food, at least like at least prasadam. In terms of money, there may be scarcity, but in terms of food, there is no scarcity. Because if you see, like we eat the most abundant prasad in the world, And if the outside
Yeah,
people they
because
are saying,
somebody may say because you have job, Prabhu, and if you don't have job, then okay. Any other? Yes, Kaushik, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, because the devotees are performing yajna, that's why everybody is getting food and everybody is getting rain. Because there
But
are
he
some
himself
people,
is not getting.
Prabhuji, sometimes it may be due to past karma or it may be due to arrangement of Lord to attract. मतलब अपन बोलते हैं ना क्या हरिश्चेता धनम शनै, भगवान कभी कभी डिवोटीज को कम देते हैं ताकि उनको अट्रैक्ट कर
ओके ओके, तो डिवोटी के जीवन में मिजरी आ रहा है, दूसरे वो डिवोटी यज्ञ करता है, दूसरों को खाना मिलता है, लेकिन खुद गरीबी में रहता है। ओके, और कोई आंसर बताएगा? डिवोटी
प्रभु जी,
गरीब है और भारत में जो नॉन डिवोटी अमीर है, ऐसा क्यों है?
प्रभु जी, एक्चुअली मतलब ऐसा सुना है काफी क्लास में, क्योंकि जो डिवोटी होते हैं वो मतलब डायरेक्टली मतलब ये प्रोसेस में नहीं आते, मतलब वो डायरेक्टली लॉर्ड हैंडल करते हैं, क्योंकि वहाँ पे भक्ति सबसे मतलब टॉप पे होती है। और ये जो बाकी चीजें मतलब मतलब वो जो पुअर होते हैं बट भगवान की बाकी चीजें जो जितनी रोटी चाहिए उतनी फुलफिल करते हैं। तो लाइक प्रभु जी ऐसा ही।
Yes, this is what, yes, bro. What I was thinking, I was asking for the point, looking for the point, what Akshay Prabhu has mentioned in the chat box. It is not about the scarcity only of food grains and all only. It is actually scarcity of happiness. So the devotee gets enough for his needs. He may not get enough for his luxury, or he may not get enough for his gratification, but he gets enough. You see, even Vrajvasi, you go to any Vrajvasi, sometimes they're very poor people. Just go to their house, they can provide you food also. And they'll provide you fresh roti, they will give you ghee, they will give makhan. As an uninvited guest also you go. Something they will prepare and give. Even if a very poor person is there. So it is a scarcity of happiness. Devotees is never unhappy. Devotees is never unhappy. Yes, abundant mentality. He gets enough by Krishna's grace for performance of bhakti. And materialistic person, even despite of having so much thing, he will be always in the wants. You ask him, "Arey, mera ye nahi ho raha hai, mera wo nahi ho raha hai." He may earn crores of rupees, but he will be in the want. But a devotee, if he is feeling satisfied, he's happy, and he can focus. So those who perform yajna, they will never have any scarcity of happiness. They will have never any dissatisfaction in their life. Those who perform yajna, and those who perform otherwise, atheistic people may be very rich, but they will be very scared also. They will have scarcity. So okay, I think time is already getting fast up. So we just cover one shloka, then one section. I think will almost get over. So then we'll stop. कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवं तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्. Yes, bro. Who's done? Please read.
it, regulated activities are prescribed in Vedas, and Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personal Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice.
Yeah, so action arises from the Vedas, Vedas arise from the Brahman. So, okay, fine. Yes, bro, purport.
Purport by Prabhupada. Yajnartha karma, or the necessities of work for the satisfaction of Krishna only, is more expressly stated in this verse. If we have to work for the satisfaction of the Yajna Purusha, Vishnu, then we must find out the direction of work in Brahma or the transcendental Vedas. The Vedas are therefore codes of working directions. Anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is called vikarma, or unauthorized or sinful work. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be saved from the reaction of work. As one has to work in ordinary life by the direction of the state, one similarly has to work under the direction of the yes, under the direction of the supreme state of the Lord. Such direction in the Vedas are directly manifested from the breathing of the Supreme Personal Godhead. It is said, Yasya Mahato Bhutasya Nishvashitam Etad Yad Rajovedo Yajurveda Samavedo Tarang Girsha. The four Vedas, namely the Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, and Atharved, are all emanations from the breathing of the great personality of Godhead. Brahma Aranyaka Upanishad 4.5.11. The Lord being omnipotent can speak by breathing, ear, or for as it is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, the Lord has the omnipotence to perform through each of his senses the action of all other senses. In other words, the Lord can speak through his breathing and he can impregnate by his eyes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over material nature and thus fathered all living entities. After creating or impregnating the conditioned souls into the womb of material nature, he gave his direction in the Vedic wisdom as how such conditioned souls can return home back to Godhead. We should always remember that conditioned soul in the material nature are all eager for material enjoyment, but the Vedic direction are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead. Having finished his so-called enjoyment, it is a chance for the conditioned soul to attain the liberation. Therefore, the conditioned soul must try to follow the process of yajna by becoming Krishna consciousness. Even those who have not followed the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principle of Krishna consciousness, and take the take that will take the place of performance of Vedic yajnas or karmas.
या सो डिवोटीज के लिए सब कुछ बाईपास हो गया है प्रभु, इतना सब कुछ प्रभुपाद कितना होप देते हैं, चैंटिंग कर रहा है सब कुछ ठीक है, बच गया है, भाग्यवान जीव है एकदम, बच गए हमने तो, इतने यज्ञ पंचशुना यज्ञ ये यज्ञ दिन भर, पर भगवान ने बचा दिया, चैंटिंग करो बेड बैग में हाथ डालो काम खत्म, राइट ना। कितना आसान दे दिया कलयुग के लिए। कभी कभी अच्छा लगता है हम कलयुग में आए, राइट ना। चैतन्य महाप्रभु के मोमेंट में आए, नहीं तो कितना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होता था वो, दिन भर ये करो वो करो ये करो वो करो, वो भी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड डेमिगॉड्स को उच्चारण करो, बिकम्स वेरी टफ। कलयुग में बस कृष्णा को याद करो, ज्यादा कंफ्यूजन मत रखो, लाइफ बिकम सिंपल। एंड यहाँ पे भगवान ने बोला है वेदास, तो इस श्लोक में बेसिकली बताया गया है, बार बार बोला गया कि एक्शन करो एक्शन करो। तो एक्शन कैसे करना है, इसके लिए वेद पढ़ो, वेद पढ़ो। वेद में लिखा गया है कि क्या एक्शन होता है और क्या इनएक्शन होता है, क्या ऑथराइज्ड है और क्या अनऑथराइज्ड है। तो ही सेड वेदों को पढ़ो, अगर वेदों के अनुसार काम करोगे तो आपको काम का रिएक्शन नहीं आएगा। सो यहाँ पे इस प्रकार का बताया गया है वेदों। यस विवेक प्रभु।
Prabhuji, actually, I have question. So, Prabhuji, it is said that Lord resides in the acts of sacrifice. So, these are only those sacrifices which are according to Vedas. But when Ravana performed the sacrifice which are not in accordance with the Vedas, still he got the mercy of Brahmaji, who is one of the demigods. So, how can we understand this, Prabhuji?
Causeless.
Ravan performed he did not get mercy of Vishnu, no Prabhu.
It is not in accordance with the Vedas, but still Brahmaji came to benedict him. Shivji or Brahmaji came to benedict him. So how he got the benediction even when his sacrifices are not in accordance with the Vedas?
Who, Ravana?
Means Ravana, Prabhuji. So that sacrifice of cutting the head is never prescribed in the Vedas. It is concocted. So still he got the benediction. So how can we understand, Prabhuji?
One thing, it is not that he only cut the head, Prabhu. He did the yajna, and additionally to give an extra offering means he gave the yajna, means it is not that कि उन्होंने बिल्कुल कुछ तो मन से concoct करके किया है, वैसा नहीं है। वो यज्ञ तो किया ही है, लेकिन भगवान को विवश करने के लिए, basically ultimately he knows the science of sacrifice, कुछ तो sacrifice करना है मुझे, तो he said कि he wanted to sacrifice his head also, तो basically भगवान को लाचार और विवश करने के लिए उसने head sacrifice किया। तो इट इज नॉट डेट कि वो इतना सब उसमें प्रॉपर परपट में भी लिखते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि जैसे नरकासुर भी ये अपना फ्लेश काट रहा था रोज रोज रोज, भस्मासुर जो था, बोले भगवान जो है इतना आसानी से प्रसन्न हो जाते हैं, ये सब चीजें करने का जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन दे जस्ट वांट टू मेक लिटिल लॉर्ड थोड़ा बताने के लिए। तो सेड कि एक्चुअल में उससे प्लीज नहीं होते भगवान। सो रावणा, इट इज नॉट डेट कि उन्होंने खुद भी मन घटित यज्ञ किया है। अगर कोई मन घटित यज्ञ करेगा तो किसी को प्रसन्न नहीं कर पाएगा। मतलब कुछ मैं अपना अपना नया सेक्रीफाइस डिवाइस करूंगा, चलो मैं यज्ञ कैसे करूंगा, मैं रोज झाड़ू मारूंगा उसको हो जाएगा यज्ञ, ऐसा नहीं है। देयर इज अ मेथड टू परफॉर्म यज्ञ, और उसका उच्चारण करना होगा, वेदों का उपनिषदों का रिसाइटेशन करना होगा, सब कुछ करना पड़ेगा वो सब। और उस मेथड के अलावा उन्होंने दैट वाज एन एडिशनल पार्ट, ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ सिर काटा है उसने अपना, दैट वाज एन एडिशनल। उसने सोचा कि उसके तरीके से कि इस तरह से मैं प्रसन्न मारूंगा। दैट इज नॉट डेट कि मन से पूरी तरह कॉन्कॉक्ट किया उन्होंने नया यज्ञ, नो, नया यज्ञ कॉन्कॉक्ट करके कुछ नहीं होने वाला.
One more thing, even the concocted sacrifices can sometimes help to control the senses. Just like if a boy get less marks, I have heard this example. So he went and stand in the very hot sun. So Prabhuji, for atonement, but such type of sacrifices. But Prabhuji, sometimes sacrifices, even if concocted, but they sometimes control the senses, it is seen, or they sometimes remove the guilt. So they may not satisfy the Lord, but Prabhuji, sacrifices are always good, even if concocted. Good in the
I don't
material
know.
sense,
You
I
may
am
get a
saying.
side. You may get a, maybe by fasting. You fast on Ekadashi, you get some better result. You get a desired result. You fast on some holy occasions, you get some special results. But now I create my fasting procedure. Chalo, now henceforward I will fast on maybe Friday. Every Friday. Oh, good. In general, Friday is good. Only fast. Every day you can fast. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So maybe you may get only benefit, which is this. Okay, your stomach and digestion will get improved. That is a benefit one may get, but we will not get a spiritual credits for it. So the corollary benefits will come by concocting. Or sometimes ulta benefits may come. We'll fast every. He said, okay, now I'll fast for 55 days. He will die only, and he will compromise. He will sacrifice his health only. He will not get even benefit also. He will rather he will get a side effect of the benefit, and because sacrifice is not only about the activity done, with consciousness the activity is done, for whose pleasure activity is done, and is the activity sanctioned based on that it is there. So it is otherwise self-created sacrifice. Like there are some people now in Katraj, they are saying that we will fast till death for the betterment of Katraj. We want to uplift the कात्रज को उद्धार करना चाहते हैं हम, तो उसके लिए हम आमर उपोषण करेंगे. अरे इतना छोटा गोल पेटी गोल लेके आप बैठ गए हो, उधर पंडा बना के बैठा है. आमर उपोषण, मन कॉन्कॉक्टेड sacrifices. These are not all purpose के लिए, ये purpose के लिए. So only some side benefits one we get, but not the actual benefits what is mentioned. So Vedas have to be referred. So in the next week, we will try to read about the 16th shloka. From 16 onwards, and this another section now is coming, that 16, 17th verse onwards, the another section will come, that to set an example, it is very important that one should set an example. All those shlokas will come. Yadya Acharati Sreshtas, 3.21, and I also set an example. So the tree wala example is in a tree. T for Tyaga, R for rungs of ladder, E for example, and E for enemy of the soul. So now we'll enter into the third section next week, that is example. As at least to set an example, you should do yajna like that. Hare Krishna. So devotees can give their darshan. We'll stop here. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.